We have got a wicked show for you today. Funny man, Steve Rizzo. We are going to talk everything, I guess, except politics. We're going to explore journeys. How do we really get the best out of ourselves, and how do we stay out of our own heads? And that's really the essence of getting your shift together.
Yes.
To the HPLS podcast. Live, relevant, and high performance information, conversations, and education weekly.
Good morning, and Lisa takes the show again. Good morning, Lisa. Good morning, Jeff. Good morning, Daman. So first off, we apologize. I know we had set up an event for this, so if you had registered for the event on any of the socials and we're streaming from a different channel, hopefully y'all see that.
Hopefully you've seen it popped up. I did get the notification on my end. It looks like it showed both of us live on LinkedIn. So yeah, if they just see that it popped up live, they should.
Well, you know, it's funny. See, you got all these, when life throws you a curveball, right? It's like you got to get that mitt in the right location. So we've had a few issues over the last week or so with Restream. I mean, one day it just decides it doesn't want to stream to a certain network, and then the other day. And so we had a little bit of an issue this morning getting Steve in, because all of a sudden Restream was asking for all these things that they don't normally ask for. And so I just said, you know what, screw it. We'll just put it on a regular thing, and we'll just keep moving forward to get this message out. So Steve, welcome. I got to give y'all a little bit of history about Steve and I. So we just actually realized that it was probably been since 2012 that we actually sat down together. Steve wrote a book called Get Your Shift Together. Such a good book. If y'all have not read that book, you need to go and get it, because you know what? So many of us don't have our shit together, and we think we do. And that book actually hits the nail right on the head and smacks you dead square in the forehead and gets you to wake up. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that today. And we're going to talk about Steve's new book, My Conversations with Bob. And we're just going to talk in general, banter back and forth about how do we get ahead? What do we have to do internally in order for things to happen externally? So Steve, thanks for being here, brother. Really excited for this, my man.
It's my pleasure. I'm glad you asked me. I'm glad we're finally to work this out.
Yeah. Hey, with every adversity comes an equal or greater benefit, brother. And
I got to tell you, my motivational skills were going out the window there for a minute. I was just like, asking for a password, and we don't have a password. How can I give you something I don't have? And I'm talking to my laptop, going, "What the hell's going on here?"
I hear that.
But we're here now, so that's important.
So here's actually. If you can, it's an old story we talked about, but I think it's a great starting point. Can you talk about when you were on your way to an interview and you had a conversation with a toll booth worker that kind of turned a lot of perspectives around in your head?
Yeah. I think that's the first time in my life that I coined the phrase humor being. And this was in the middle of my comedy career. I did stand-up comedy, as you know, for 24 years. And in the middle of my comedy career, I quit and became a motivational speaker. And
it's on the same path.
Excuse me?
It's on the same path, right?
It's the same path. It's just I just took a different fork on the road. I always do. And which upsets a lot of people too, I got to tell you. So, which is why I'm divorced too. But anyway, that's a whole other story.
That's a whole different story. Yeah.
It's like the morning I woke up and said, "I want to become a woman now, honey," and she goes, "Oh, forget it." No, but so my whole thing when I speak to people is that you're in more control of your life than you can possibly imagine, and we're all born with innate common sense strategies that can take us to a better place personally and professionally. And one of the strategies is for us to unleash the power of your humor being on a daily basis. And everyone on this planet has a humor being within them. Everyone. Your humor being is of your higher nature. It's a part of you that brings out the best in you. When times get really tough, what your humor being can give you more than anything else is peace of mind and emotional stability. And now I'll get to the story about the toll booth. This is when I realized how powerful my humor being was. It was in the middle of my comedy career. And I was in New York City, and I had a rental car that kept breaking down and stalling out and then starting again. The air conditioning isn't working. It's 98 degrees. I'm in the middle of Manhattan. I don't know if you've ever driven in New York City, but it could be very intimidating. And as this car is stalling out and I'm sweating and New Yorkers are beeping their horns and cursing at me, what made it worse is that I'm already 20 minutes late for a very important audition. Now I'm feeling this massive snowball of negativity building up. And I'm like, oh man, what else could possibly happen? And don't ever ask that question. Because when you do, the universe will answer you. So I pull up to this toll booth to go into a part of Manhattan. And I go to pay the guy, and I realized I left my wallet at the rental place. And I don't know what possessed me. I thought I was going to snap. I looked at the guy in the toll booth and I said, I'll have a couple of burgers, 2 fries, and get something for yourself there, Sparky. Now, without missing a beat, this guy looks at me with a typical New York grin, and he looks at me and he goes, would you like me to supersize those fries, my friend? And I just started laughing. And so was he. But all the cars in back of me, they weren't laughing at all. They're beeping the horns and they're cursing. My newfound friend in the toll booth sticks his head out of the toll booth and says, Sardi, we ran out of food. Try the next booth. Try the next booth. And all of a sudden, I'm laughing. He's laughing. And a major shift in my attitude took place. No longer was I focusing on the bad mood that I was in. My mind shifted and I was thinking about something ridiculous that was now occurring. See, because your brain can only focus on one thing at a time. So right now my brain is laughing. But the coolest thing, after we had this little banter together, the guy let me go without paying. I mean, he looked at me and he said, listen, you're having a tough day right now. I can see what you're going through. Don't worry about it. This toll is on me. I got you back. And he said, and thank you. I said, what are you thanking me for? I said, you're letting me go without paying. He goes, but you need to understand, I'm really new at this job. This is only my second day. And believe me when I tell you, I really needed to laugh today. And I went, so did I. But here's my point. I drove away from that toll booth in a totally different state of mind. And as a result, I was able to plant positive thoughts in my head, constructive ways on how I can deal with this very important audition that I had coming up. And I had a great audition. I kicked butt. And it's a good thing I did. Led to the most important break of my comedy career. That's how I got my first TV special, my Showtime special. And that special paved the way for every other TV appearance that I was ever on. Wow. Now, let me ask your audience this question. What do you think would have happened if I would have gone into that audition in the mood that I was in before the toll booth incident? I wouldn't have had a chance. Not in the mood that I was in. And I realized it's only when I started laughing was I able to think positive. Now, why is that? Here's the psychology behind this. When you start laughing in the midst of a stressful situation like that, your brain is no longer focusing on the stressful situation. Your brain is now somewhere else laughing at something ridiculous that you just did. Your brain is totally in a totally different realm. And that's the first time in my life that I realized that my humor being came to the rescue and turned that stressful situation into the ultimate success story. Just by
Steve, I love that. My question becomes, how do you replicate that? Like, have you figured something out where you yourself can replicate it? Can you share with the audience for anyone that might be going through those challenges?
Yeah, because the more you use it, the more it becomes a part of who you are. Mm-hmm. And when I realized, actually, as a matter of fact, it was sometime after that audition, I said to myself, what was it that snapped me out of that mood instantly? What was it? And I realized it's only when I started laughing. And I went, well, why is that? And it's like I said, because when you start laughing in that stressful situation, it nips negative thought patterns in the bud. So when that happened, and I saw that transformation taking place, that was sending a message to my subconscious that runs 97% of your life. So the next time I'm in a stressful situation, I automatically recall that, wow, my ability to laugh in that stressful situation helped me to cope with it. And it led to something fantastic. Let me do it again and see what happens. So my point is that you have to become aware that you're getting upset and knowing that at some point you're going to have to find the humor within either that situation or another one that will come up at some point throughout the course of the day. See, there most people hold on to their bad moods. Let's say you get up in the morning and your car doesn't start. Now, of course, you're going to get angry at first. Man, I'm really pissed off. My car didn't start. But some people hold on to that for days.
Yeah.
For days. And you even ask her, hey, Joe, how you doing? Well, yesterday, let me tell you what happened. And by telling that story again, they're reliving the situation and not knowing unwillingly, they're putting themselves in a very negative state of mind. And they're taking that mood with them throughout the course of a day. So the key is to become aware that you're getting upset and to know that maybe this is frustrating, but there's something within you that can meet this challenge head on, and know that at some point, if you could find the humor in something, even if you could see something that somebody else is doing that can put a smile on your face, hold on to it, acknowledge that that shifted your mindset. And the more you do it, the more it becomes a part of who you are. Did that make sense?
It does. It reminds me of, gosh, I forget where I first heard this, but they're talking about like allowing other people or things to control your life. And like, you know, you're driving to work and you get cut off and you lose your mind, and that person kind of takes off the highway and they're gone. And you get to work, and for the first 3 hours, all you're doing is talking about how you got cut off and this is bullshit. And not knowing you're allowing that other person to control your life. Yeah. And what are they doing? They cut you off. They went to work. They're like, hey, man, yeah, how you doing, man? Yeah. They have no idea they're in total control of your life. And all you do is focus on that issue. You know,
exactly. And you're the loser.
We got a lot of truck drivers that watch the show. And this is a big thing with truck drivers, because they'll have a situation at a shipper, receiver. They'll have a situation with dispatch or their customer or somebody. And now they've got 9 hours of driving to just smolder on it.
Yep.
It's an issue.
And it's not a matter of right and wrong, because any one of us can tell their story that's going to put them in a bad mood. It's not a matter of right or wrong. It's always a matter of advantages and disadvantages. And how are you going to cope with the crap that life will throw at you almost every single day? But the more you become aware that there's a part of you that can meet that challenge head on, the easier life gets. And trust me when I say, everything that I offer people when I speak to them are common sense success strategies. They're innate. We're born with them. The thing is that we get so caught up in the stuff of life that we're not aware that we can tap into this part of ourselves. And
can
like
you
I
share
said,
some of those common sense success strategies?
Yeah, well, one of them is, now you say you have a lot of salespeople that are in your audience. Yep. Well, you know, I wonder if your viewers know that the attitude that you wake up with in the morning could very well be the attitude that you're going to take with you for the whole day. And the scary thing is you're not even aware of what you're doing to yourself. So here's a common sense success strategy. And this strategy starts as soon as you open up your eyes to greet the day. Because as soon as you open up your eyes to greet the day, you enter into consciousness. Okay. It is at that moment that your creativity is at its most powerful. At that moment, you have an opportunity to steer your thoughts and your emotions in the direction that you want them to go, not in the direction they are telling you to go. In other words, you could really choose to seize the day, or you can let the day seize you. And I think we could all agree that way too many people today are starting their days off in low moods at best. And as I said, the scary thing is that they're not even aware of what they're doing to themselves. It's become commonplace. It's a part of their personality. Why? Because before they even take the covers off, what do? They immediately start focusing on the challenging, if not grueling day they had the day before, all the things that didn't work out, all the irate people that they had to deal with. Man, I know people, and I bet you a lot of your listeners and viewers right now do this, and maybe you guys even do it. You wake up, you didn't take the covers off. You're still groggy. You just started thinking about the crap you had to deal with the day before. Then you reach over to your nightstand, you grab your iPhone or some other apparatus, and you start looking at all of the messages that you think need to be answered before you even leave the house. That is absolutely insane. Insane. Give yourself a break. Now that you've compounded the problem from thinking of the stuff that didn't work the day before, now you're looking at all the messages that need to be answered. You didn't even take the covers off, and you're wondering why you're feeling all out of sorts, even after 3 cups of coffee. So what I ask people to do, and here's the strategy, is to get their shift together. In other words, when you wake up in the morning, before you take the covers off, don't think about everything that needs to be done. Rather, think about who you have to be in order to get it done. That's step one. And right then and there, when you say to yourself, who do I have to be to get this stuff done today? How can I start my day with an unstoppable attitude to succeed regardless of my circumstances? What needs to be done? That's when you immediately, again, before you take the covers off, you shift your focus and your way of thinking, not to what isn't working in your life, but to what is working, to the things that lift your spirits, to the things that bring you joy, to the things that can elevate something within you to make you gradually feel better. What I'm asking people to do, and this takes 30 seconds to a minute before you take the covers off, is to formulate, to create an attitude of gratitude. And I don't care who or what it is. Maybe you're thinking of the person lying next to you. Maybe you're thinking of your children, your grandchildren. Maybe you're thinking of the dog lying by the side of the bed. Maybe it's a particular goal that you achieved. Maybe you're having friends over for a Saturday dinner or for a sporting event on a Sunday. It doesn't matter who or what it is. Everyone could find something that they are grateful for in their life, and that they could elevate their spirit before they start their day and take it with them throughout the day. Notice the difference. Now, why do I want people to do that? Because an attitude of gratitude simply makes you feel good. And that's what our lives are all about. It simply makes you feel good. And feeling good is the fuel that drives motivation and inspiration. Think about it. It is absolutely impossible to stay motivated throughout the day if you are harboring negative emotions or if you have a bad attitude during the process. The number one reason why people consistently fail in business, especially in sales, it's not because of the challenge within itself, and it's not because they're not smart enough. It's because somewhere along the way, positive momentum ceases. And the reason why positive momentum ceases is because the individual is focusing all of their energy on what isn't working and all the things that need to be done in order for them to get it to work, not leaving any room at all in that brain of theirs for positive or optimistic thoughts to seep through so that they can deal maybe even with the next challenge that will inevitably follow. It's a simple strategy. The more you do it, the more it becomes a part of who you are.
That's powerful. That's powerful.
Yes, that
now,
is.
as a quick shift, and then we got some comments to get to, but we're going to get to the lane of the day. Yeah, I'm still about those flashy videos, Steve. So
That's pretty cool.
So the lane of the day, powered by DAT, comes to us today. It is reefer, Columbia, South Carolina to Jacksonville, Florida. The line haul rate per mile, $3.98. With fuel, $4.79. Contract rate, including fuel, $4.95. Year-to-year spot line haul rate change is up 30 cents. So one of the first lanes we've seen in the last little while where the rate is actually up instead of down. Line haul rates are increasing rapidly after dropping about 50 cents a mile since March. 53 cents a mile higher than May's average. So we are starting to see a shift in a lot of the markets. And as we go through the lane of the day, Dean's here tomorrow to give us a bigger idea and vision on it. But I'll tell you right now, things are starting to turn, and it's a good thing. I think it's going to get people are going to be a lot more excited in this. So we have got a ton of comments. So Jess says, "Come on, Dan, get your shift together." Brother, we made it work. We went on a regular stream.
Yeah, we're sorry, guys. We're sorry.
Exactly. Lisa says it wouldn't have turned out how it did, and that goes back to your toll booth story. ESP. Having thoughts keeping you up at night, keep you up at night, 100%. Yes. Jeff says, as a professional, you would have incorporated the wallet, the rental car, and the toll booth collector into your routine. My advice is to never take your problems to heart and instead laugh about it. Why the hell do you think I still have hair on my head? Yeah, I mean, I laugh about it, but and Steve laughs about it.
Well, I don't. That's because I laughed so hard the hair came out. So.
Yeah, the hair came out. Me too, Steve. Me too, Steve.
I mean, I'm not as follicle challenged as you two, but I still, I got a 7 head instead of a 5 forehead. We have the power to choose our state of mind, gratitude. Grateful right when I wake up. Absolutely, Lisa. Jeff says that's what I do, Steve. I smile, laugh, and tell myself it's going to be a great day. I'm always positive no matter what. Ask DJ and Dan. And that I concur. He is. And Lisa says yoga with sales chatter. Lisa wakes up every morning and does yoga with for gratitude.
That's the way to start the day.
Absolutely. And Daman says, elevate your spirit. I like that deeper level of connecting with it yourself in the morning to set your day. Thanks for sharing that tip, Steve. Thank you. And I think that's the key, right? Is, you often hear people say, well, you woke up on the wrong side of the bed, right? And you're just cranky and it just turns you off. I love that. So, Steve, building off of that, what would be your second thing that you would share?
To know, well, the most important lesson I've ever learned in my entire life, which is that you really do become what you think about day in and day out.
Oh, yes.
That's what truly successful, happy, optimistic people know about life. That the thoughts that they have about any challenge in their life will ultimately determine the quality of success and happiness they're going to have in regards to that specific challenge. There's a process here. Contrary to what most people may think, it's really not the situation, the event, or the circumstance that takes place in our lives that will determine how successful and how happy we're going to be. It's really how we think about these things. See, because your thoughts have the incredible power to either minimize or maximize the effect that any challenge has in your life. And it's not your thoughts within themselves that gives them great power. It's what your thoughts create is what gives them great power. You see, your thoughts create the beliefs that you have about any challenge. Your thoughts create your beliefs. As a matter of fact, the beliefs that you have about anything in your life, be it race, religion, sex, the economy, the environment, the beliefs you have about politics, the beliefs you have about your neighborhood, the beliefs you have about your family, the people that you work with or work for, the beliefs you formulated about me in this short time that I've been here are formulated over a period of time through a consistent way of thinking. Your thoughts create your beliefs. There are no ifs, ands, or buts about that. The more you think a certain way, the more you will solidify a certain belief. And here's where it starts getting intense, because your beliefs write the story of your life. Now, those thoughts and those beliefs will create the way that you feel on any given day. So if you're waking up in the morning and you're thinking things that are not conducive to being creative or productive, and you're complaining, here we go again, I can't believe we're doing this, and then you start blurting it out with words, now you're really solidifying this belief. And those thoughts and those beliefs will create the way that you feel. Now, the way that you feel on any given day, by the way, this is what separates those who succeed from those who fail. Because the way that you feel on any given day will formulate the attitude that you have. So those thoughts will continue solidifying that belief system that will cause you to feel maybe even emotionally distraught. That will give you an attitude which is not conducive to being creative or productive. And all of this put together, this cycle will eventually lead to a particular action that you take. The actions that you take always lead you to an outcome. Now, you have a choice on what thoughts to program in your head so that eventually when you do take action throughout the day, it's going to be a productive outcome. Even if it doesn't work out right the first time, know there's something within you that could get it right. And that's another thing that separates people who consistently fail and from those who succeed, is that when it doesn't go right the first time, they don't start with this negative self-talk. I knew this was going to happen. I try to achieve something, it never works. I'm always going 2 steps up and 5 steps back. Why does everyone else have what I want? I deserve it more than other people. How come my life isn't working? See, some people call this negative self-talk. I call it self-curse talk, because you're casting a spell on your life. Those are creating or solidifying an already negative belief system, causing you to feel like crap. Now you have a bad attitude. Now with all that, you're taking actions, and that's going to lead to an outcome, and you're compounding a problem. As human beings, we have a tendency to make challenging situations worse than what they have to be, all because of our thought process. And it's up to you to create the thoughts that you need to get you where you need to go.
So, Steve, how would one then, you know, negative thoughts are probably one of the most challenging things ever. I mean, I'm a very positive person.
The most challenging thing ever.
Yeah, yeah. And consistently, I'm saying, why would I think like that? Why would I think like that? Why would I think like that?
You got to think about it, though. I mean, we're human. Our brain, if we get rid of all the baby world that we live in today and we trace it back to what humans had to deal with, our brain told us, be careful. There might be a wildebeest over there. Run. And that's all it's telling us. So it's constantly just our brain is trying to protect us, but it's protecting us by always going to the negative outcome first to really.
Well, you nailed it, DJ. That's exactly right. Because we're born, it's part of the human condition to think from a fear-based mindset. Yeah. But we have evolved, and most of us have realized there's a higher part of ourselves that we can connect with. You can either connect with the higher part of yourself, or you can connect with the big mouth inside your head. And some people call the big mouth the devil, which is, pretty comparable, because if you listen to it, there will be hell to pay. And you have to, and I think that's another thing, DJ, is that you have to be, the key to setting yourself free from that is being aware of what you're saying to yourself, of what you're thinking. It's the awareness that sets you free. Because as soon as you become aware and you're going, oh my God, I'm doing it again, instantly the negative self-talk stops. And now you have to take a deep breath and say, whoa, where is this going to take me? And you could actually feel that feeling of pressure dissipating, because you knew what you were doing to yourself. And now you're saying to myself, and which is what you have to ask yourself, I got an important day here. I got to meet with a client. I have a big sale that I could nail right now. I can't take this attitude with me to my next client. What will the outcome be? And when you start asking yourself questions like that, the answer is pretty obvious. So now you could shift your focus, gradually shift your focus and your way of thinking to the strengths that you have, to something that would be more conducive to creating the outcome that you want. The more you do it, the more it becomes a part of who you are. And before you know it, you realize you're starting to respond to life stuff from a higher part of yourself. And another thing, people should start their day knowing they're going to be confronted with challenges. That's not a negative statement. No. We are here on this planet to experience, to learn, to grow, and to become the best person that we can be. I want you guys to get, I want your listeners to get this. How you experience all of the things that happen to you in your life will determine what you learn. What you learn leads to your growth. That continued growth paves the way to who and what you become. Our job and our responsibility is to become the best person that we can be. That's always up to us. It's not the situation. It's not the circumstance. It's what you're going to do with those things that makes the difference.
I love it.
I love it. Oh my goodness. That was powerful. And
can I go home now?
And I agree. Choices have a lot to do with it. I mean, you use the word choices a lot. The choices.
Yeah. Well, let's think about this. For what is it? Yeah. For every choice that you make, there is always a consequence. Always, always, always. For every single. As a matter of fact, think about this, folks. I don't want to depress anyone, but think about this. Where you are at this point in your life is made by the choices that you made at some point in the past. Those choices are the key factors that determine the quality of life that you have right now.
100%. I got something in my agenda every morning, and it says, so it lists off this morning mindset, and it says, what can you get excited about today? And so you start with that, and who needs you on your A game and all that kind of stuff. And then there's one thing here that really takes me to the next level. It says, what's a situation that could stress me out or trip me up today? And so it gets you thinking of whatever your day schedule is, what can stress you out or trip you up? And then it says, how would I, at my highest self, respond to this situation? So you almost pre-plan how you're going to respond as opposed to react to the situation in the morning. And I've found since I started doing this, when things happen throughout the day, it's like, okay, great. How? And it's that one question. How would I, as my highest self, respond to this?
Exactly.
Right? Because your first
I love that you're using
reaction is,
respond too, Dan, because that's what I
yeah,
think.
100%.
When we're aware, when we're truly aware, we respond, we don't react.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the big key.
100%.
And you saying about
Yep.
being aware, Steve, I think that was the biggest thing and realizer for me was, okay, realizing this craziness that I would feel inside of certain things, or realizing and just being more aware of my feelings. Okay, why am I doing this right now? And then having that self-talk, like you're saying, yeah, that's I just changed my whole life.
That's so well said by both of you, actually. Again, I'm going to go back to your subconscious runs 97% of your life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Your subconscious doesn't know the difference between true or false, right or wrong, fair or unfair. It only knows the information that you program into it. Your subconscious is the genie of your soul. And there are people that go, and I want everyone to get this. If you're going through the course of a day, let's just say it's a Monday, and you're at work and you're having a hectic day, and you're saying to yourself, you know what? This is absolutely ridiculous. I'm not getting the respect and the appreciation that I deserve in this place. I should be making more money. I seem to be doing everything, and I'm not getting rewarded for any of it. I can't wait for the weekend to get here. When the weekend gets here, that's when I'm going to enjoy myself, and I'm not going to do it 1 minute sooner. Now, your subconscious, the genie of your soul, is responding to you this way. Okay, your wish is my command. If you want to wait for the weekend to come to enjoy your life, I can wait, because this is what you're asking me to do.
Mm-hmm.
So then there might be some people, I had a person in my workshop say this, well, won't I enjoy myself when the weekend gets there? And I said, no, you won't. The chances are you won't. She said, why? I said, because that mindset stays with you. That is the mindset you created about everything in your life. So now you're going to be home, and I guarantee you, you are going to find something else that's going to piss you off or annoy you that day. It might be, why is it that when I'm home, I can't have any time to myself? Why can't the kids just take off for the weekend? Why can't I have time for right? You know what I mean? There's always something. You're always going to find something.
Yep.
Always.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an ongoing cycle. We don't know. We create our own hell, our own misery. You know, because you're not aware of what you're saying to yourself. You're not aware that your subconscious runs everything.
Yes.
Everything.
Or even at that, if you're throughout the week and you're saying, I'm only going to enjoy myself on the weekend, you end up talking about all the shit that went on during the week that pissed you off. Yeah. And it's like you just relive it.
And then you got a shitty weekend.
And then you have a shitty weekend. And then Monday comes, you're like, my weekend sucked. I didn't even have a good weekend. I was looking forward to a good weekend.
And then it leads to the ultimate. Not only did my weekend suck, my life sucks.
Yes, exactly. It just snowballs.
I don't want to get up in the morning and it snowballs. Yeah.
It's amazing what we do to ourselves.
It's crazy it's actually insane what we do to ourselves. Insane.
And I know,
right, DJ
too.
What's that, Steve?
It's the gift we were created with, though. But oh man, yes,
beauty. All right, DJ.
Want me to take us out?
Your quote. So every day, Steve, DJ comes up with quotes, and like he's bang on all the time, and we don't even know which way the conversation's going to turn. Because you know me, I've always been the kind where it's like, hey, we're just going to banter. We're going to let the conversation take on a life of its own. I mean, we're going all the way back to Little Conversations in 2008 for that. So did it match, DJ?
We'll see. I think so, but I think I went with a toss up on this one. This is kind of this might be a meatball, but I just love the quote so much. But first off, Steve, thank you so much for joining us and for all the amazing knowledge. Guys, we didn't get to talk about it. Maybe we'll have him come back on. He has a new book, Conversations with Bob. Once you figure out who Bob is, you'll like the book even more. But amazing book. Please check it out.
You can get it on Amazon. It's already getting great reviews. It's the best thing I've ever done in my life. It's the reason why I was put on this planet. Conversations with Bob. It's all dialogue.
Yes, and it is. And he has a podcast as well. Check it out if you get a chance. But again, thank you, Steve, for joining us. As
My
always,
pleasure,
thank you everybody for all the comments and joining us daily. Lisa, obviously, thank you for the shout out with the sales chatter and yoga. You guys want to start with gratitude in the morning? Do a little yoga, get in that mindfulness, and a little sales chatter will get you started in the right direction.
Yeah, Nigel says I used to have a sales director, David Middleton. If I asked him how he was, he would always say, "Fantastic! It's infectious. It's a mindset."
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's right.
Absolutely. Maggie says, "Feed the good wolf."
Guys. But again, so thank you, everybody. Yes, remember you're feeding the good wolf. Thank you, everybody, for joining us again. Sales Chatter Live daily, 9 a.m. till 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. Start your day right with us. Thank you to American Logistics, Centurion Trucking, Daman, shout out. People Over Profits, you guys rock. And again, don't miss us the rest of the week. Tomorrow, big day, Triple D Day.
Saturday, Wednesday.
We got Dean in the house Thursday and Friday as well. So again, guys, thank you so much for just making this possible. Quote to take us out is unknown, so I'll take, as always, I'll take credit for this one if you guys like it. Everyone you meet knows something you don't know. Be willing to learn from them.
Centurion Trucking, our motto is people before profit. Today's market requires more transparency, consistency, and focus on what our clients need to win. Centurion Trucking and American Logistics are poised to help their clients achieve and surpass their targets. If you're looking for a team that honors your needs, dreams, and aspirations, then get a hold of Daman at American Logistics or Centurion Trucking and start designing